World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, I am Peñano with today's World News in 5. The head of the United Nations World Food Program, or WFP, warns that Gaza remains on the brink of famine despite a slight increase in food aid deliveries. In an interview with news agency Reuters, WFP Executive Director Cindy McCain said about 100 trucks are now entering Gaza daily, far fewer than 600 allowed during a 2-month ceasefire earlier this year. McCain described the situation on the ground as utter devastation, stressing that many families remain malnourished and hungry. Israel's military, however, says more than 308 trucks, mostly carrying food, are entering the enclave each day. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with McCain this week and pledged to speed up humanitarian deliveries. A report by the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, a global hunger monitoring body, estimates that nearly 514,000 people, about 1/4 of Gaza's population, are already facing famine conditions. The report also warns the crisis could worsen in central and southern Gaza by the end of September. Israel has rejected the findings as biased, but McCain called the IPC assessment the gold standard in measuring food insecurity. In other news, Russia has launched one of its deadliest missile and drone barrages on Ukraine in recent months, killing at least 21 people in Kiev and wounding dozens more. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the strikes targeting residential areas, trains, and even foreign offices were Moscow's response to ongoing peace efforts. Damage was reported at the European Union office, the British Council building, a Turkish enterprise, and the Azerbaijan embassy. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called the assault another grim reminder of Russia's campaign of terror, promising new sanctions and moves to use frozen Russian assets for Ukraine. Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer also condemned the strikes, accusing Moscow of killing civilians and sabotaging peace. The Kremlin insisted it targeted only military facilities and said it remains open to negotiations. But U.S. envoy Kit Kellogg wrote on X that Russia chose ballistics instead of the negotiating table. Ukraine's Air Force said it shot down most of the nearly 600 drones and 31 missiles launched across the country, though energy facilities and civilian buildings were hit. The attack came less than 2 weeks after President Donald Trump hosted Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska for talks aimed at ending the war. More news overseas. Tensions are escalating between the United States and Venezuela following a major U.S. naval buildup in the southern Caribbean. According to U.S. officials quoted by news agency Reuters, 7 warships and a nuclear-powered submarine are either in the region or expected to arrive soon. The White House says the mission is part of President Donald Trump's push to combat drug cartels, which his administration has labeled global terrorist organizations. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has condemned the deployment, accusing Washington of preparing for military intervention under the guise of counter-narcotics operations. Venezuela's UN envoy Samuel Moncada filed a complaint with Secretary General Antonio Guterres, saying the build-up violates the UN Charter. The Pentagon has not revealed full details of the mission, but U.S. spy planes have also been conducting surveillance in international waters. Meanwhile, Maduro announced he will send 15,000 troops to Venezuela's western border and urge civil defense groups to begin regular training. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said many regional governments have welcomed U.S. counter-drug efforts, while stressing that Trump is prepared to use every element of American power to block narcotics from entering the United States. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, I am Win Peñano. Good day.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.